sometimes, you know, when you see people talk about drawing the face, like they're like, oh, it's like a piece of paper, and you're like kind of able to like turn this piece of paper, and like if you see it from the front, like they're looking up, you know, you have this piece of paper. But there's like other things going on, you know, it's like the forehead plane actually comes out a little bit. Then you have the cheeks, and that plane kind of comes out a little bit. And then you have like the chin is kind of a little more straight on with the forehead. So you have this like eye socket kind of fitting in here. So it's like, and then you have the chin. It's got this kind of like, you know, the way it fits into the neck. You know, there's a lot going on. Like if this were the neck and this were like some stuff right here, you know, it's like there's a lot happening at these extreme angles that we can really see. And so it's like, sure, Mr. Piece of Paper, but also no. And then we get into the subtle forms of the nose, and we're just like equally like, okay, well, we have this. If we look at it from the side, we get like the forehead, and then we have this going in, and then this coming out, and then this nose coming back. And it's like, the problem is, like, you draw it enough like me, and you just don't know the difference of when your brain is phoning it in versus when your brain is, like, interpreting form. Like, my brain just phoned in those shapes and proportions because I'm used to drilling that into my brain. Like, that is the problem that I think that most of us face when it comes to, like, our bad drawing habits. It's like, our subconscious like latches on to a way of doing things, and then we just don't actually think critically about what we're doing, and so we like really lose like the sense of like life that we can give to our pieces, and the sense of like grounded dimensionality, you know. So yeah, it's just like one of these things where, you know, if I really think about go back into this drawing and then I think about my forms, you know, maybe I can like make this a little lighter and draw over it. Okay. You know, we think that this nostril comes out, so it's in front of this form here, and this comes underneath and wraps under. And this is the side of a cube, of a box, of a dimensional form. You know, so it's not just a flat thing, you know, because we're drawing flat objects, you know, we're drawing flat lines on a 2D canvas, so it's really kind of the struggle of like making this dimensional in terms of what you're suggesting and doing. So it's like, and then with the lips, you know, it's like, oh god. Oh, we're gonna have to have a lip day. We really need a mouth day. I'm like not even gonna lie. This is like noses, yes, and then lips. Yeah, oh my god. Like my brain has to stay so focused to be able to like know what I'm doing. But once I'm used to it, once I'm used to drawing it dimensionally, you know, this is not going to be a problem. Just knowing like this is going in front of this line, and this is behind this in three-dimensional space. So, you know, and when we do our drawings, you know, when we do our designs and stuff, like we're using shape to really suggest things too. So it really ends up kind of, and this is like her, ends up coming down to like being incredibly aware of like what kind of forms you are. So if you're painting, I feel like painting kind of can help because you're really like exploring the planes and the sides of things. But yeah, man. It's tricky business. Tricky business. And that's why we're here today. Because Lexi doesn't want to have any more tricky business. Lexi just wants to, like, be able to draw, like, pretty anime people and sexy men and funny cartoons and just have a good time. I want to be able to draw and animate them and not feel like I'm having just like some inner struggle when I put a mark down on a piece of paper. Isn't that what we all want, like, honestly? So that's why we're here today, because I'd like to have a space to explore this together. See, I can even kind of see how the proportioning got a little out of whack there. There's something like that. You know, this guy's alright. He's kind of doing it. Yeah, I think of that. Oh, and hair. We're gonna have a whole hair day because, like, I'm great at phoning things in. And again, you know, when you're drawing like cartoons versus like realistic people, you really don't have to face some of these treacherous trickeries, because you're more kind of working with just forms. It's like, I can just draw an OKKO character. I can just draw Boxman. And I really just only need to think about, like, if I really want to get dimensional, I'm just thinking about a box, or not a box, a ball. I'm thinking about a ball. I'm thinking about a cylinder. I mean, I'm drawing a lot of, like, through lines, but the eyes, I'm not even thinking about any of that because they're just circles. They're just shapes. Like, you know, and then I have a successful drawing right there. I didn't need to do shit. I could really just focus on expression, playfulness. And it's like, yeah, I love cartoons. Because, like, that's really what they focus on. They focus on that playfulness of the expression. There's a little bit of dimensionality that, like, and realism that, when applied, you can get a nicer sort of, like, effect. That little bit of realism, like, helps the viewer to connect to certain elements of it. You know, so it's like, if I make sure that his arms, like, have, like, a kind of dimensional feeling to them with how the forms are moving back, then, like, great, you know? If his posing feels, like, kind of natural in terms of the gesture, even better, you know? So that's, like, you know, the thing about cartoons. We don't have to worry about any of this. We get, like, a free pass on, like, half of the struggle. In a lot of ways. Let's just put him over here. He's scheming. We just need to, like, know how to simplify. And how to, like, kinda... how to just give the impression of things rather than, like, actually understand all the elements of the anatomy. You know, even when they're, like, semi-realistic, like, if I'm, like, drawing, like, Professor Venomous, who's a little bit ever so slightly more realistic in comparison in some ways, you know. When we start to get, like, a little bit more realistic, we're, like, needing to maybe think about more complex versions of the forms, but... Then we start to get into like anatomy a little bit, yeah, with him. So it's like if I'm gonna think about this going back in space. Anyway, I don't mean to get too off topic with this. I'm really just trying to stress that, like, the more realistic we get, the more we're really thinking about dimensionality, the more we can't avoid using our brain at all times. The more I can't avoid using my brain at all times. So, some insight into my process. He's like laughing at me. So yeah, anyway. So anywho, we're gonna move on though. We're gonna move on to noses, because like, again, you know, I don't know, these two just like happened. They just wander into my drawings. So like, we were talking about this whole example here where it's like, yeah, the whole like piece of paper is great, but like you add on to it and then you have like all of these other forms, and then like what do you do? It's like, you know, we have this whole like thing happening. And we don't even have a nose on top of this. Like, if I just put, like, some eyeball in here, like, maybe it fits into there, fits into there, fits into there. You know, we're just kind of... We don't even have a nose on this. I'm putting kind of big eyeballs on here. If we think about the... Let's maybe make them the same size as that. They're fitting into here. Fitting into here, so they fit inside of the skull. And then the mouth, you know. Maybe we can use like some sort of Loomis-esque guideline. Don't even get me started on Loomis stuff. Like, I feel like some of these things like Loomis, they really require you to understand relationships to be able to successfully use them. Like relationships of like how the forms interconnect and fit with one another. What is a brain? Oh my gosh. You want me to animate Cat Girl Leon? Yes, please. Oh, hi Quaji! I hope you're having a good night. Sorry, I keep looking over periodically at the chat. So if I miss a comment for a moment, please hang on. I'm gonna periodically check. So, you know, we don't even have a nose on this. This is like noseless, mouthless too. That's like a whole kind of other element, because like the chin doesn't just go like this, like ah, bah, 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 bah. Like there's a bit of like a muzzle action to it. So we're just gonna maybe simplify her for right now. It's not mouth day, it's nose day. When we get on to mouth day, we're gonna have a ball with that. Ho ho ho. But you know, we draw a nose on this and it's like we have, just like we saw up here, we have So it's like, this is what we're seeing, you know, from the side. Which means we have this plane, and we have this plane. 1 and 2. Googly-oo. So, this... So what do we got? We got like some nose bridge. We can like maybe think about that a little dimensionally. Yeah, maybe if we take another piece of paper and we put it on top like a nose, you know, that'll maybe start to get us there. But yeah, then we connect that to here, connect this to here, we have eyebrows. So it's pretty complex what's happening with the nose. You know, it's not for like the faint of heart to just like look at this and know exactly what to do. You know, it's not realistic to assume that we can necessarily understand like a lot of nuance. It's not a bad place to like start, but it's not gonna like, it's not gonna show you. There we go. He's happy. Hee hee hee. So it's like, again, there's a lot happening. The face is like the most complex thing to draw, in my opinion. Like the arms are not so bad. Like I think that, you know, sure, we've got, let's make them a cylinder. We've got the biceps, we've got the triceps or whatever. I actually have to look up the names again. It's a big bicep. We have a bunch of like wrapping things, but when you kind of like get down to it, you're like, okay, this is a hard form, and then this is also a straight, and then this is a hard form, and then you have like, you know, bulgy asymmetry and bulgy. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then everything else is kind of straight. There's maybe a little more complexity to it, but it's like, it's not like a face. It's like just stacks of complex forms all intermingled and woven with each other. Anyway, my diatribe on faces. I only feel so strongly because they're so beautiful when they're drawn like with intelligence, and that's what I want to do. I want to be more smart. I came here to be more smart with everybody, so let's get more smarter together. All right, groovy. I just had to put that ear there for my own peace of mind. Oh gosh, hairlines. It's not hair day. It's not hair day. It is not hair day. But we do need the cranium to fit in here, that's the one thing. Not if you're one of these guys. Wherever their brain is in their head. That's his brain. And that's his brain. We don't have to worry about their brains, or they're okay. Alright, so let's do some gestures. Because we've kind of done our preamble. Part of our preamble. After we do our gestures, I have another preamble about how I went wrong. Because looking back, I kind of understand why I might have gone wrong with noses. So let's do some gesture nose into the books. Yeah, we'll do a hand day too. I love hands, and I do know how to gesture them, and I understand the logic behind hands, but understanding how to really bake that gesture into like the perspective and anatomy of hands is yeah, that's absolutely something that we'll do. But we're gonna start with faces today, and I'm gonna pick a more chill song because these guys are feeling it. Hey Mocap! I hope you're doing well. One second, as we continue, let me open up. I have this like little chat thing that overlays. Gives me like a little sound when it does. But I'm not hearing it. Oh well, it's like this jazz music is so loud. Oh well, I'll just keep looking over occasionally and make sure I didn't miss any messages. But anywho, awesome. All right, so we're gonna do head gestures. I'm kind of stalling because I'm I'm a little nervous. I don't usually do head gestures, so I'm gonna try and make this smaller though so I can just see it. Like when I gesture the head, I'm always often doing it with the whole rest of the body, so I'm not doing it in isolation. So that's kind of what I need to not do. Because really the answer to my problem is in the gesture. That's always the real key. When you figure out the gesture and the rhythm, you solve the mystery of how to draw something. I'm gonna make this a tiny bit bigger. Okay. I'm like trying to cheat by drawing like the rest of her body. We're probably gonna look at Riley rhythms of the face too. We'll see what we do today, because that's like a whole time in and of itself, so we might save that for next time we do the noses and the faces. But the Riley rhythms that's a whole like kind of methodology, like adjacent to like Loomis and stuff. I'm actually gonna stop and do 60-second head drawings. I'm like, yeah, 45 seconds, that sounds great. No, it does not. Oh, this girl again. We'll see how these go too, because I might want to like go through the normal photos, because I think we might have just more heads at different angles. But you know, it's like when you're drawing heads, like, yeah, you want the anatomy and the form and all that, but what does that serve? It serves the expression. It serves the energy of the person making the expression, you know? It's like, it doesn't just serve being a pretty picture. It's like, why is that person posing that way? Or, I mean, this lady's not really posing, she's not making an expression. She is kind of, she's just like, hello. What are you doing here? Staring at my face? Are you drawing me? It's a little nondescript in terms of like a expression though. I'm just gonna put in my own mouth. If I can't get her mouth, she's smiling. Oh my god, he's terrifying. That is a smile, oh my god. It looks like one of those, like, horror movies where they're stuck like that. He just follows you around like that. Oh my god, that's kind of a terrifying expression, not gonna lie. I hope I can get my drawing, like, at least a little bit as terrifying. Just those, like, wide eyes. Okay, mine looks a little bit, like, less terrifying. That guy's talented. She's happy. Look at her. She's like, eee. I'm having a good time. I'm reminding Lexi that she's gonna have to have a neck day soon. We're just gonna, like, kind of go through all the anatomy, honestly. We're gonna do a day for everything. Okay, we'll go back to her photo. We're gonna skip her, though. Yeah, okay. Another thing is, too, I think that, like, it took me a while to, like, really learn how to, like, use my guidelines properly. Because it's easy, I find, to, like, put down these little crosshairs and then, like, not really utilize them properly, like, know what they exactly what they mean for you. And I think gesture drawing really helped me, because every line is really effective in my drawing when it comes to gesture drawing. Like, every line really, like, is purposeful. It's not hand day. Okay, we did that one, so we're gonna skip her. Is that Jamie Foxx? Alright, fine, we'll draw Jamie Foxx. Just looking straight on at me. I'm gonna skip her. It's very similar. We get a lot of similar poses. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. Nice and different. I like the angst. much different expression happening here than what we're kind of used to. So you can really see with a pose like this, like what starts to like come through with like muscle forms and stuff. Because it's like not so straightforward when we get poses like that. And you can see we got the gesture, but still, there's a lot of things like happening in some of these poses. We got a nice side view pose there. We honestly haven't been getting too many side views. Okay, we're gonna open him up again. Like, you can see on something like this how we actually get these forms like lining up of like the chin to the bottom of the jaw to the ear to like this little part of the head. And that's what studying gesture can really help us out with. So we're gonna do some nose studies in just a minute. We're really gonna work on getting that right. And it's like, I don't always care if the eyes are bigger than they're supposed to be, like on these kind of gestures. If I'm getting like the feeling of the perspective in there, I'm kind of happy with that, but these eyes are too big. I say that because these eyes are just, yeah, they're a little anime for this dude. But getting that neck in there. The neck is like a suspension bridge, you know, we have like and then we have all this like stuff in the middle. We have this Adam's apple. This connects into the head. Very apparent on like animals. People it's apparent on, but like when you get into like horses, oh my god, horses, it's like very obvious. It's like they're built like a bridge. But we're not gonna do animals today. Animals are another day. Alright, let's get this girl. We missed her schmoiling. She was happy. And everyone has like kind of a slightly different like mouth smile shape. It's almost like grimacing. It's not grimacing, but almost. Because we gotta get a little bit of this. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you got to draw along on one. That's awesome. Oh, if you want to share them with me, I would love to see like a photo or a link. Like, definitely save them for next time if you're going to bed now. But thank you for stopping by. You take care and have a good night. That's so awesome. I'm glad we could draw together. We will solve all of our problems and bad habits together. one bit of anatomy at a time. There you go. You know, something like this. And we'll move on. Yeah, look at her. She's like, yeah, exactly. It's all good. Okay. So we'll move on from here. I don't want to spend too much time on our gestures, but you know, I feel like in terms of face drawing minute gestures, we weren't too bad. We kind of like, you know, got warmed up in some ways. I don't know what head this was. This head is not there anymore. This was in the 45-minute session that I changed. And this one, I'm just gonna see if I can make that feel a little better. It's like when we start to see the mouth at different angles, that's something we're gonna spend time with for sure. Because like when we get to these like these angles like this, it's like you can really see when the perspective gets broken. But yeah, these kind of more straight on angles that we're used to, easier to fudge. So yeah, so I feel good about these gestures. You know, we did some good warming up. So this is a great place to like kind of take us into the next leg of this, which is like noses. Noses. Woohoo. So part of like my personal problem with having bad habits is that I draw in pen. I draw almost exclusively in pen. The rare time where I get to like draw all my guidelines like this is when I'm drawing in the computer, drawing on the computer. I draw with pen most of the time. Pencil is so infrequent. Like maybe 0.2% of the time I draw with pencil. So like, and I like, you know, I do warm-ups in the morning, like with my coffee. Like I do stuff like this where I'm like, you know, here with like some boxes and some ellipses. And I did do some nose studies the other day, which inspired me to do this particular stream. But you know, I have like, you know, face studies and stuff here. But like I just draw in pen. Like I just draw in fountain pen and other kinds of ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pen's a little more forgiving with the whiteout tape. I have to use post-its for my fountain pen drawings, but that's kind of what I'm relegated to in drawing in pen. It's like I make a mistake, I use whiteout tape, or I use like post-its and redraw it. I just redraw it, that's it. So it's like I don't really build up drawings. I don't really have any of that luxury when I'm drawing in pen, and I prefer it. I don't really like drawing in pencil as much because part of the reason I'm just not used to it, because I've spent like 10 years drawing in pen. And it's great because you're like nice and bold with your drawings, but also you don't build up forms, and so you don't draw the underlying forms that you build upon. You have to just Kim Jong-y like envision. And that's really hard. It's really hard if you don't practice like cubes and boxes and stuff. And like once I was doing that, like that helped a lot. But you know, you're just kind of muscling through and trying to wing it. So like that's one of the reasons I have bad habits. You know, another reason, this is going to be a controversial take, I think. It's going to be one of those takes where it's like, it just is. I can't deny the truth of it in my life. I'm gonna move these gestures over here. They might be helpful to us later. So I really got into drawing like when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, when I discovered Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, oh, but it was the manga. I discovered the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga because I watched like Sailor Moon, I watched like Pokemon and like Digimon and Dragon Ball Z a little bit. The boys liked it. I was like, you know, I like Dragon Ball a little more because yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. I like it all though, but I wasn't like into it like obsession level into anime until like I discovered the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and I was like, like I hadn't discovered manga before then. Manga just like lit something inside me, and I was like, I have to do this too. I have to draw this. Oh my god. And like they tell you when you're a young artist, all the art teachers tell you, they tell you if you draw anime, you're going to not be able to draw well. You're gonna pick up bad drawing habits. They tell you to not draw anime. They tell you when you go to art school, you know, making your portfolio, don't draw anime. And they don't like to see that, and blah blah blah. And on the one hand, I think that when they say that, they don't know how to use it as a teaching tool, perhaps, because it really does stylize, like the anime style, like stylizes things to such a degree that, like, you know, you just kind of, you lose sense of realism in a lot of ways. Like, you lose sense of reality. You're looking at pretty eyes, you're looking at sparkles, you're looking at like the folds in the clothing and the hair, you're looking at everything else but like the structure and form and anatomy, and it's a real master of like drawing and draftsmanship to like bake that into these really stylized designs that you find in anime. That's just kind of the you know, it's kind of the truth of it. So, like, I grew up with this stuff, and you know what, like, it doesn't happen to people who get into Disney stuff and just draw Disney characters as much as it happens to people who get into anime and draw anime characters. But, like, where is it? I got... Where is some Yu Yu Hakusho shit? This shit. I loved Yu Yu Hakusho. My first anime that... the Yu-Gi-Oh manga was like my first manga that I got obsessed with, and the Yu Yu Hakusho anime was first anime I got obsessed with. But like, look at this. Look at this nose. What is this? What is this, Yusuke Urameshi? And in the manga, it's like even worse. Like this shit. This shit right here. This one's a little better because it's like there's a little more realism to the drawing. But like, yeah, this is great. This is a great. No, this is an actual panel from the manga. And then like this kind of stuff. Like they do this, and to like a young kid who just doesn't know like anatomy, like to see this and to not know what's happening is like just gonna like nerf you if you keep going on with your life not knowing what's happening with these noses. Like, yeah, even like Yoko Kurama, who's like supposedly got like just a slightly more realistically proportioned nose. No, and Kuwabara's even got a nostril. That's how you know he's not like the Bishojo one. The shonen one, because he's got a nostril. Actually makes his nose a little easier to draw. Like, you look at this and you're just like, what's happening? You know, it's like, you know, it's like Rumiko Takahashiville. And the problem is like, for a young kid, like this, it's such a blend of style and anatomy that like it's just really hard to understand what's happening, because like you just see it and you're like, big eyes, cute little nose, you know, you're like, oh, I mean, like I've drawn it a bunch, so I know more of like what to do, but you're just like, you know, you're like big eyes, and then the nose. I can't even biff it as much as I used to biff it, you know, because I'm just a little more used to drawing form. But like, you know, for a young kid, it's just like, what do you do? You know, like, how do you translate this stuff into like actual like dimensional forms and objects? You know, how do you take this drawing and like think about like what's happening on a form level? You know, so the eyeballs, you know, you have to really stretch it with the eyeballs, because it's like the whole eye socket is like essentially being used instead of like the eye socket like fitting the eyeballs like you would see on normal like anatomy, kind of like how he drew in this example right here, kind of like how he drew there, like, you know, kind of like that. An eyeball, like the entire socket. Well, it's maybe not the whole socket, like you still get the eyebrow, but like you're using the whole bottom of it. You're just really pushing how big that eye can be, how much space that takes up, you know, within the anatomy. And so it's like, and then the cheeks. I mean, honestly, it's like, it's not so dissimilar from drawing frickin' Sonic the Hedgehog. Honestly, it has a lot more tie to like old cartoons. But again, that's like the real kind of like thing about it, is like this kind of whole like Preston Blair sort of like animation style. Yeah, it has more in common with that, to be honest with you, than it does like actual like realistic anatomy. I made Sonic look like a hobo. This is a very off-model Sonic. It's been like a long minute since I've drawn Sonic. Let me like kind of get his nose in there a little bit better. There we go. That feels slightly more correct. This is good. This is not a good Sonic. Here, wait. Let's make his eyes like a little bit more like correct. I only very recently played a Sonic the Hedgehog game. I always wanted to when I was a kid, and I just never ended up doing it. So I'm not like as Sonic ingrained than you know, others. But you know, Rumiko Takahashi characters have like way more in common with Sonic the Hedgehog than they do with you know, again, this guy down here. This guy down here is like, you know, it's like a kind of blend, honestly, between Preston Blair animation styles, like old stuff, like Felix the Cat. Sort of stuff. No, he's not even Preston Blair. He's got a slightly different style. Preston Blair. Preston Blair. All this to say, yeah, this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff right here, you know? So, like Tom and Jerry stuff. Yeah, that's exactly it. So, yeah, anyway, this stuff just wrecked me as a kid. Like, if I copy and paste this in here, and then, like, we, like, put the forms over it. Oh, no, actually, this didn't wreck me as much. See, I liked shonen stuff because there was, like, more structure to it. Now, the stuff that really, like, fucked me up was, to see, like, we got... Well, no, this totally, like, messed with me, because, like, look at how big Yusuke's head is. Like, you just, in certain angles, you don't see, like, the sides of his, like, face. Like, this is just so stylized. And it's, like, so cute. It, like, works. It really works, though. It's, like... Freaking Yoshihiro Togashi, like, he knows how to draw his characters. And, like, you know, I don't know if... Like, I know his art style's evolved a lot over the years. But, like, it's... Like, always got this one eye that's, like, kind of doing this, and the other one's doing that. But it works. It works. It's so cute and appealing. So, if we, like, put forms on it, we can kind of see Yusuke's little, tiny little cute nose. You honestly kind of get this sort of thing happening with the eyebrows. And then the cheek kind of coming out like this. We really, really struggle to break down the forms. So, yeah, you know, like, this... If this was what a teacher could break down for me so I could understand when I was first drawing, that would have been so infinitely helpful, because it's not like there isn't form to it. It's not like there isn't, like, a logic to it. It's not just, like, you know, a big head with, like, a little anime cheek and, like, big eyes. You know, it's not just that. It's not just this. He always did this because this is like the little shadow or something. Or I don't even know. Kurama's face. Like that same sort of like Kuwabara is like the most realistic. He like is the only one that like actually like makes sense when you look at him. And he's supposed to be like the not good looking one. The thug. He's not the pretty Bishonen boy like the rest of them are. Don't get me started on Hiei. Hiei's got like big ass eyes. He's just like... But anyway, it's like if someone could break this down for me, then I might have had an easier time. But like... No. No, let's... This is the stuff. This is the stuff that really got me. Oh my god. These incredibly gorgeous Naniko Taguchi drawings. Like, so flippin' adorable. These drawings are like the best. They're so flippin' cute. And it's so subtle what she's doing with moving the forms on the face. And it's so delicate. It's so beautiful. Like, oh my god. But like, kid me cannot comprehend those big eyes. And there's not even noses on these. She didn't even put noses on these drawings. Of course, then when you see like the anime drawings, they have to resolve all of these things, so it's like easier to kind of understand. But when you're reading manga, Sailor Jupiter is the only one with the nose because she's like turning to the side. But like... It's funny that these are my two first examples because these guys are married. I picked the married couples drawings as my first examples. Oh my god, that's all I want for myself. Just have a beautiful manga making husband. Oh my god. Sold. But like, actually you can really see the similarities in their styles in a way. But, you know, it's like this kind of stuff. It's like just so delicate. And you know, not every drawing is perfect. They do so many flippin' drawings for manga. Like, this is a very skinny finger Sailor Moon, but that's okay. We're not looking at that. We're looking at, this is what we're looking at. And seeing this to a kid with all the sparkles and all of the ooh-woo is like, you just get captivated by the eyes. Like, you really do with these drawings. And then, like, what is the anatomy doing, though? Like, what is happening with these forms? You know, that kind of gets lost amongst all the detail. They're so ornate, you know, these drawings. Shoujo especially. Like, it's just so ornate. They're almost like little deer, honestly. Like, if you think of them like that. Actually, kind of makes it a little easier to think about. They have this, like, little pointy nose. Like the nostrils would be like over here. If she had nostrils. If she had an actual nose, it would be like... I mean, it'd still be like dainty and cute, but like... wouldn't be this dainty and cute. Like, that would be like an old honker on the Sailor Moon style. Like, that would be an adorable nose for like Tinkerbell and a big old honker on Sailor Moon. Does not work. So yeah, this stuff this stuff messed me up as a kid. It's like, oh my god. And then like there's no forehead really on these drawings. Yeah, there's just like on Sailor Moon, her eyebrows go up to her hairline, so there's like literal zero forehead. So, you know, that's what happens. That's what's happening when we're seeing like this like manga stuff. So this, again, this is what I'm kind of working back from. When you animate it, you have to like understand what's happening. It's like, anyway, I love this stuff, man. This is like, I loved Sailor Moon, the manga. So I watched the anime like before I got into anime, and then I fell in love with the manga, like when I was like in my manga phase. But if someone could teach me this, like this is what's happening, I would have had so much more of an easier time. It's like, we do have like suggestions of forms and things, but it looks like, you know, an alien head, not like a realistic person. Oh gosh, one more example. Now we got Marmalade Boy. Oh my gosh, this was so shoujo. Very, very shoujo. What a shoujo indeed. So yeah, it's just all so pretty, you know? You get captivated by the eyes, you forget that, like, forget about everything else. Not like, oh, I love these drawings, they're so cute. It's not like studying a Disney character where they were built for animation. I think that's like the main difference. Manga, anime gets based off manga, not all the time, but a lot of the time. But if you read the manga, the art, like, you know, it's not made for animation. It's made for each panel, sequential art rather than moving art. And so with Disney, like, everything's made for made to be moved. So they're always gonna like be resolving certain like details about the facial rotations and the head rotation and things like that. You know, you get like You get these really great head angles for Milo. Like, look at this. This is like... This is them really making sure that they've stylized and worked stuff out, so that way when you move them around, you're not like just SOL. Miguel, they got Miguel in here, and Tulio. Let's bring up all three. Miguel, Tulio, and Chell. She's gonna have a cuter little nose. Her nose is a little bit more adjacent to some of the stuff we were just looking at. And you get Miguel, he's got a longer nose. Or sorry, Tulio. So it's like, yeah, figuring out like what is happening with these noses. It's gonna really help us out. So let's get into it for a little bit. Let me just have a quick little bite of a snack. I spent a while just talking. Okay. Yeah, man, if somebody explained like this to me and this to me, because this is why art teachers say like, oh, don't draw anime when you're first learning how to draw, even though that is like the gateway drug into drawing. Like anime and manga, because there's something so beautiful and captivating about it and magical about it. It has just a different sensibility, so many people get really like captivated by it. It's a little bit more like introspective, a little more about like the kind of like psychological experience, because like Eastern storytelling tends to be a little more psychological than Western. It's like, you know, Western stuff tends to be more like about the action of what happens versus how the characters feel. And I think that's why especially a lot of young people connect to anime and manga. Hirohiko Araki has an amazing book about making manga, and he goes into that too. Just about like how he lays out manga based on that. But the psychological aspect of it, how the characters feel, is such like a big part of anime and manga. So I think that's why it resonates and gets a lot of young people into making art, and older people. But you know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure kind of stuff, like that's like a whole nother kind of like, that's a whole nother sort of thing. Cause like, now if I got into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when I was young, maybe I would have had that to help me out, because his drawings are just so dimensional and incredible. If I can find them. It's a lot of fan art. There's a Josuke. But his art is also like evolved over the years, like, you know, the stuff you see in like Joseph Joestar. Versus what was the last one? My brain keeps saying Steel Ball Run. It's like, no, not that. JoJolion. Like, night and day. Like, the kind of... Where's that? Yoshihira. Then you have, like, yeah, the kind of... There we go. I mean, you have this versus this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, night and day, his, like, evolution. And they're both so beautiful. It's like, I love how beautifully like stylized and rich some of the details are. The dimensional like forms are really like beautiful as well. He's just kind of like slowly moved closer to creating like Grecian statues. Like every drawing feels like it's like molded out of like marble. And you know, I think it's really cool seeing how his art style has like just moved closer and closer, because I know for him, I remember reading that it was like an inspiration, like Grecian sculptures were an inspiration to his drawing style in general. So yeah, but far more like dimensional. Like here we do get like some stylized stuff happening with the face, where there's more style than substance compared to like, you know, this. Like every line is intentionally placed in 3D space, versus like with the eyes we get a little bit of stylization happening. But again, it's like with anime and manga, it's like it's not like a wrong thing. It's just like when you're studying it and you don't know what's happening, what style versus like what is like dimension. As a student, if you draw it and study it, you're gonna get confused. As like a professional, they know what they're doing, so they're intentionally stylizing it in that way. But because it's a realistic style, there's a lot of like kind of like the lines are so blurred. It's not, again, not like you're drawing freaking these chumps over here. You're not drawing like actual cartoon characters where there really is no blurred line, you know. You're drawing somebody who's like meant to be a realistic character. Anyway, all that to say, anime is our greatest blessing and our greatest curse at the same time if we don't know how to study it properly. And I think since teachers often say to not draw on those styles to young students, they really like rob those students. That's a really strong way of putting it. It's just they're not like really understanding how to teach that as a material. They're not seeing the value in it, which is like really a shame. It's really sad because like there's so much like value for like learning. You're just not going to learn the realistic proportions, but like I don't think you need to learn with realistic proportions to start off with. It's all about learning the relationships of things and understanding that proportions can be changed, but like the forms, how the forms are built is consistent, you know? It's like, yeah, Yusuke's face might be like wackadoo crazy compared to, you know, some realistic head. But to this, that's more realistic. And that's not even fully realistic. But at the same time, you know, we've got forehead, we've got cheeks, you know, we have these forms. We've got like, you know, the underneath his eyes, underneath his nose. So we get like these planes happening. We get the side plane. We see all these side planes, but we can also like, we could draw a skull in there. We could certainly draw a skull in there. We'd have just a very stylized skull. We can have it. It'd be a very cute skull. Maybe the chin is pointier than a skull tends to be. I'll give him that. But yeah, so anyway, this is like this is like the kind of thing that, again, if like I was taught more of this, I might have like had a chance of like really kind of getting a better picture of like what's happening with this anime thing that I'm in love with. And Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of similar, you know. Yu-Gi-Oh had some really like stylized stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho. I know I said Yu-Gi-Oh was like my jam. But, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh definitely had, like, some stuff that got really stylized. Like, you know, this. Oh my gosh, like, what's happening? A lot of this kind of thing is happening, honestly. And you get sometimes where there's, like, a slightly more realistic nose, but not even. Like, look at this, like, Joey's got, like, shadow. Got, like, just one pointy nose and shadow. So the stylization of noses in anime... Look at Goku. Look at his little nose. Like, the stylization of noses in anime really makes it hard for people. Because, like, we see this happen just again and again and again. We saw it with Yusuke. We saw it with Sailor Moon. It's like, you know, the eye forms going into this little nose. And then, you know, maybe if we're lucky, we get the kind of eyeball kind of fitting in like this. And then we get the eye. Then this like part of the nose, like this kind of part where those nostrils would be, that tends to be where the cheeks flare out of. So, like, this is so heavily stylized. Then you just kind of put the mouth wherever. It just depends on the kind of character, you know. You put the mouth there, you put the mouth... You don't make the mouth too big. That's definitely one thing you don't do in manga. You make it little. It's cute. Ooh woo. You know, any time you do anything more than just this, like, you know, you're really kind of walking a line when it comes to manga. So when it comes to this very kind of like, this is a very avant-garde mouth. It's like a little too Western. And you need something like that. There you go. Maybe a tongue. You can maybe sometimes do the tongue. You don't ever do the upper teeth if you can help it, depending. So, yeah, so like, maybe let's make the tongue kind of sort of feel realistic. There we go. Because the tongue would like sit there. The upper teeth would be sitting there, like, but it's, if you put upper teeth, if you show upper teeth, it takes away from the kawaii woo-ness. And the amount of kawaii that you want to bake into the character is like it's all you can think about. That's really like the first and foremost thing. And then, you know, sparkle, 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 sparkle. You know, I have not studied anime sparkle eyes, so, you know. Anyway, so this is, and you can make the ears big. That is one thing. You actually can make the ears big and it does not detract from the kawaii-ness. We see that in Sailor Moon, we see that in Yu Yu Hakusho. The big ears can be okay. They can be part of it. But we're not doing ears today. So anyway, this turned into a lecture, a dissection of how anime can really like hurt us instead of help us, and how it can actually help us. So I don't know, maybe I should retitle the lecture that. But let's draw some noses, because I really want to break some of my bad habits. As much as I enjoy this, as much as a fun lecture as this is, yeah, this really turned into that, didn't it? But I'm glad we talked about this, because, like, honestly, I teach character design, and this is helpful for me. So it's good. It's good. Alright. So, for the next 15 minutes, we're gonna keep going. Also, I love in this Dragon Ball cover, we have Bulma and Vegeta just, like, flirting over here. I think that's like my favorite thing about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and stuff, is that they're married. Like, that's the best part. Like, Vegeta's like such an edgelord, and Bulma is just like, she's just so outgoing and just like, you know, it's just like so perfect. It's like my favorite, one of my favorite kinds of pairings. It works. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do it. All right, Lexi. We're gonna move on. We're gonna understand what goes wrong with the noses. Let me pull up some of my examples. Man, yeah, I love Yu Yu Hakusho, and this style, emulating this style in my artwork, it screwed me up. I did this. Oh my gosh, wait, there was this like bad hack manga that screwed me up. Oh my gosh, I love this nose. Oh, he's so pretty, so handsome. Oh my god. Anyway, that hack manga. Oh, Legend of the Twilight. That's what it was. That's what it was. Oh my god, this, I loved this manga. I love the drawings in this manga. Messed me up. So many bad habits. Could not understand this shit. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Not the anime, the manga. There we go, yep. I love these drawings, they're so cute. Let's see if I can see this bigger and better quality. I can't. I cannot. Like, oh my gosh. Like, just little dot nose. Just little dot nose. Oh my god. We just can't. We just can't with this. Those big ol' eyes. But it's really just like a case of this. It's just a case of this. Like, if we just take this, like, let me just copy this just so I can, like, absolve myself of these childhood sins. Changing the title of this to, like, how anime wrecked my art style and how we can fix it. That's the new title of this video. I know it says drawing noses and breaking my bad habits. We have to start somewhere, though. You know, this is where we start. We start at the beginning. Also, this mouth, I'm not gonna lie, there's no arguing for that mouth not being off. I don't care. She's okay. I forgive her. The artist or the artist and the drawing. I forgive them both. But, you know, we got this giant ass cranium. We got such a giant cranium that the eyes actually sit at the bottom of it, which is not so typical of, like, realistic proportions. Realistically, you're gonna get the eyes maybe sitting, like, you know, about there, about, like, 3/4 of the way down. I mean, you kind of are, you know, it's a lot further down on this particular orb of a dome of a skull. But what? Okay, so we get this, it's cheeks, this, no jaw, just cheeks. And we get this like thing that we were just talking about, this little deer nose, this little Sailor Moon deer nose. If you can understand that, you can draw any of these really adorable anime styles. Dimensionally, you can draw them well. You don't have to draw noses. You can just draw these like cute little dots, but they'll always be placed correctly. And usually the eye is like just above. Sometimes you have a curve, so they'll follow that curve of the face, like that paper plane we were talking about. Which guy? Where is he? This guy, it'll do that on some level. I'm just gonna put her mouth in the correct place. I'm sorry to the original artist. Also, I'm gonna put her shoulder in the right place too. This shoulder is just a little too far forward. Just put it back right there and you're fine. You're fine. There we go. Wasn't far off. It was just a little bit. That's the thing though, you draw cute and beautiful enough drawings and it's okay if like something's a little off. You know, people aren't gonna like note. Look at how many times this drawing was approved and people did not notice her shoulder was kind of out of place. Like if you look at it closely, it almost looks like a back shoulder. Like it almost looks like this is her scapula and then we could see her from the front. Like if she was like a back view of her, like this would totally like fit, honestly. Like that would be correct for a back view, but it's not, it's a front view. So, first, did I say clavicle? I meant scapula. But that's okay. Because it gives us a feeling. Like I said, anime and manga is all about that feeling. And then, yeah, then we have our eyeballs. You could imagine if they were just balls. They'd be kind of like this big, yay big. We have our jaw and our cheek form. Our ears. And yeah, our hair sitting on this head. Look at that. Let's draw Shugo. We drew Reina. I remember their names. I loved this manga. It was so cute. He doesn't even have like a little arrow. He's like a little dot. You know, I actually feel like, I know we didn't draw realistic noses yet, but this is helping me so much. Like, I feel like I'm not crazy. Like, this is why I've had the troubles I've had on some levels. So I hope, like, this is helpful to other people, too. Because I know a lot of people grow up with this stuff because it's so cute, you know? And you can kind of think of this, like, kind of like a butterfly sort of idea. Like circle it around the mouth. See, we could even find rhythms in these and like have more success in drawing these kind of drawings, this kind of style better. So there we go, and if I take the red, I can draw in their eyes. Their eyeballs. Their eyeballs shouldn't be skewed so much, but that's fine, because, like... yeah, we can kind of get a little butterfly rhythm going. It's gonna be really helpful when I animate characters like this. I actually have a little animation of toilet-bound Hanako characters. I don't know if you guys have read. Let me find a better manga cover. I don't know if anyone's read. Oh no, I dropped them all. Toilet-bound Hanako, but like I love this manga. It's a hard manga in a way to tell people about because the title has toilet in it. But the drawings are so gorgeous. They're so beautiful, so cute, and just so adorable, but like the drawings, oh, they're beautiful. Oh, and the humor is so funny. Like it's so funny, it's so cute. It's like cute and funny and beautiful. I recommend it. So this will actually help me out a lot. So thanks. Thank you. Shugo and Reina. See, they actually have foreheads though. They got giant ass foreheads. They got big old foreheads. Look at them. Their hairline is up to here. For these guys, you know, for anime characters. But yeah, so look at that. And if we turn off this reference, you know, we can see we're really getting this idea here. This like little deer face comes to a point. Bambi. The little Bambis. So, shit, well, you know, you think about it. And you're, oh, I'm gonna save that. I like that drawing. Bambi. It's so similar. I mean, like, Disney was such an inspiration, but like Bambino over here. Ballerina. Bambidambi. Look at that. Like, oh, copy image. Look at this though. This. Let me get rid of that one. This is the same picture. It's the same picture. It's that meme. It's the same picture. Look at this. Look at this, though. This is the Bambi. This is what we're seeing here. So that's, I guess that's the secret. The secret is shoujo manga. That beautiful, cute style of manga is just Bambi. It's just Bambi. We've solved it. We've cracked the code. It's just Bambi. They just put the eyes on the front. Bambi with eyes on front. That is all of it. Look at that. We can do our little point. We just bring the eyes like a little closer to the front. Give it a little cheeks. Every adorable manga style ever is just... It's just Bambi. It's just Bambi, you guys. We've solved it. I feel like a detective here. I feel like I've unlocked a mystery of the universe right now. I'm very excited for my discovery right here, right now. Wait, what did I do? Wait. Is this the same layer? Okay, let's get rid of that. Look at this, though. Bambi. It's just Bambi. Oh no, I dropped my pen. I was trying to mic drop with my pen, but I just threw it across the room. Alright. This is great. We are gonna come back. We are actually gonna dissect noses. But this was where we needed to start. We needed to start at the very beginning of why. Why did things go wrong for Lexi? Why did they go wrong for Lexi? And now we know. We know why things went wrong for Lexi, because she loved the most adorable, cute little manga, and nobody knew how to explain to her what was happening on a form level, on an anatomy level. Nobody could tell me that it's just Bambi. Just learn how to draw Bambi. It's gonna solve your problems. You just draw Bambi. Anyway, all right, you guys, this was super fun. I hope you guys had a good time. I had a really good time. I'm gonna like here. Let's see what we do today. We did a lot of good stuff. We did a lot of great stuff. I think. Here, wait. Let me move these two. I just want to have everything like up on screen, and they're just like in the way. I love them, but they're in the way. Alright, let's put them over here. So yeah, we've done it. We've done it. We've cracked the code. We have learned shoujo? No. Bambi. Yes. This Yusuke? Urameshi? Bambi. Sailor Moon? Bambi. Everything and anything kawaii? Bambi. It's just Bambi. Alright, y'all. You have a great night. This is super fun. I feel like my mind is blown. I'm like reeling over this discovery. So, yeah, hopefully this helped somebody else have their mind blown a little bit too, because man, I'm like rethinking everything. Anyway, y'all take care. You all have a great night. I will see you next time. We will go into Noses Part 2. We have more to discover, but the beginning was, oh, it was again very revealing. The beginning was quite revealing.